are now listening to The Couch on 24/7 Miami with your hosts, Chubby Dubbie, Clem December,
Baby Clem. December, it's Clem time.
and your boy Coleman.
Coleman, I've had the most absurd nightmare. I was poor and no one liked me.
Let's go. And welcome back to The Couch. It is Tuesday, October 10th. My card payment is due today.
Oh, man, that's horrible.
But yeah, wild weekend in sports.
All sports.
All sports, especially in the NFL, especially
Tennis was great this week.
off the field in the NFL. Thank you, Manny. So the Dolphins played the helpless Titans led by Matt Castle, and it did not look very convincing. And so
With Matt Castle with at least a little bit of prep time, right? Right? I mean, give him a little bit of credit. No, dude, the Dolphins look freaking horrible. Man.
The offense was stuck in the mud. Jay Cutler, I mean, I wish we had Cap.
It was almost as slow as the FSU UM game. It was really boring to watch.
I think it was slower. I mean, I think Jay Cutler in the first half had 21 yards. He finished with, 92 total?
Yeah, less than 100.
I mean,
despite the win, you're not very optimistic.
No,
it's tough to be optimistic.
I did not take away anything good from that. Like Matt alluded to, the offense looks stuck in the mud. I don't know necessarily that it's all Jay Cutler's fault. He's got to take some of the brunt. You know what I mean? But he's scrambling around back there. Like the offensive line can't get any penetration moving up towards the field. It's either Jay Cutler scrambling or Jay Ajayi running into, linemen that are breaking free immediately.
Yeah, one time Jay Cutler was just in the pocket looking at his own feet.
Yeah.
Just like so worried about the people around him, not looking downfield, looks up, throws one to the flats, like just in the dirt.
The probably one of the highlights, one of the funnier parts for me, as far as that game, is that when they busted out, super creative, when the Dolphins decided to bust out the Wildcat, they didn't even bother to have Jay Cutler on the field this time. They didn't even and it was total, like, that had to be just like, let's get him off the field so that he doesn't have to deal with the backlash that he's gonna get for his emotionless body just standing there.
And Gase did come out last week and said, "Listen, that's exactly what Cutler was supposed to do. Like,
right,
we don't
do.
Want him to go up there and throw blocks at wide receiver or at DBs."
Which was funny. I mean, again, and that goes more into the fact that also ties into the topic, like, why is Gase is really defending Cutler like hard? Is he defending Cutler? Or is he really kind of defending himself? I mean, here's the reason, Cutler got picked up was to see the production that when they worked together, which was Cutler's best year.
Right.
I mean, that's
that's what
we're expecting to see. So he might be defending his own coaching.
Right. He's defending Cutler because that was his pick.
Right.
Like he chose to go with Cutler over everyone else. So obviously he's gonna
Cutler goes, they called me.
Right. He's like, in my defense, I tried to retire.
I was in the booth, y'all.
And the stadium, they were chanting. It's never a good thing when at your home opener, the stadium. I certainly wasn't chanting the Matt Moore chants, but they were chanting the Matt Moore chants.
I mean, it's whatever. It's the, uncouth sports fan. It's how Miami is, they're never satisfied, et cetera, et cetera. You're not going to get any better play from Matt Moore, really. You might get some emotion. You might get, you might see him upset, but that's all you're going to get.
So, yeah.
I mean, look, you can't expect different results when you're doing the same thing. I think everybody in that stadium, including the fans, knew, okay, 2nd and 7, 4-yard out to Jarvis Landry. I think we're all getting a hang of the Dolphins offense.
It seems like everybody is.
Yeah, every defense in the NFL. I don't know what.
I mean, if we're picking it
that's supposed to be
apart
a
like
good
this,
thing or
like,
something, I don't know.
if we're picking it apart like this, I mean, you can only imagine defensive coordinators and whatnot.
Right. And so we talk about the offense.
We suck. We don't know anything about sports.
It's still the offense still has not scored a first half touchdown. We got that on a fumble recovery this time. So we actually did score a first half touchdown, but it was still not the offense.
Right.
Right now, Miami scoring dead last in points per game, 10.3. They've scored 40-something points in 4 games. That's awful.
It's a miracle we're 2-2.
Right.
And it's a miracle that we're only 1 game out of the division lead,
which is held still by Buffalo, right?
Right. I mean, the Patriots are 3-2 as well. But yeah, Dolphins, they don't look great. It's crazy. Like, we really thought the Dolphins were gonna
I bought in, man.
compete for like 12 wins this year, and now it's like they'll only, if they can win 10 games, maybe they'll get in the playoffs.
Last year, I go, if we can get more than 10 wins 2 times in a row, I need it for 2 years in a row before I really start emotionally investing into this team. And it doesn't look like we're going to get it this year. So I think that clock restarts again.
Yeah. And we're going to see what happens this upcoming weekend when they travel to Atlanta and face an actual real offense. Like, how could they possibly score enough points to keep up with a team like Atlanta? It just,
there's absolutely, I mean, we just don't have.
Our defense has basically been keeping us in games by, mudding up the field and, just keeping the pace of everything so slow. But Atlanta is not going to do that. Like, you can't slow down Atlanta like that.
Well, good thing the best part of our team is our defense.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look favorable for the Dolphins moving forward.
No.
So yeah, at Atlanta may not be very good for the Dolphins next week. In other Dolphins news, coming in hot Sunday night was Dolphins O-line coach Chris Forster on video from Facebook leaked by a Nevada model.
Don't say model.
A Nevada.
Don't say model.
A model. We can use air quotes now because we have video here.
She's a model.
Can we say dancer?
And
why do they keep on referring to it as a white substance? We know what it is.
I know,
bro.
it's cocaine.
Freaking Miami, bro. It's cocaine. It's yay.
I mean, you never know. It could have been Adderall
before the meeting. Look what I'm doing right before the meeting.
I mean, essentially.
Oh, baby, I miss you. I know it's gonna be a long time before we can do this again.
Because he got her pregnant.
Yeah,
we don't know
somebody knocked up this stripper and
dancer. It's 2017.
Now she can't do her cocaine anymore, and Chris Forson is really missing her. And man, I mean, there's just so many layers to this. Like,
let's go through them.
First off, how dumb is he to send a video like this to someone of her stature?
How long has he been with the Dolphins?
Really, yeah.
Making that video is just the
don't video yourself.
Judgment.
Don't video yourself breaking the law.
That's rookie. That's rookie.
That's
like, it makes it seem like it's his second year here coaching.
But here's the bigger thing for me: that this girl ruined herself. I mean, I heard that this guy making like $2.5 to $3 million a year.
One of the highest paid assistant coaches in the NFL.
Right.
He was saying how much he loved her. If I'm that girl, I'm marrying this guy, spending a couple years, and then maybe he's too high to ever sign a prenup. Boom, you're out of there. He was the easiest target. He could have been the easiest target for her to gold dig.
Well,
she might have been looking for more money.
But
rich white guy, single.
But did you see what came out? So initially, she released this, I guess, to her own social media.
Oh.
So then she went on social media and said basically that this was, she alluded to a lot of different things, but basically said that it was to bring awareness to
the lack of like white people aren't held accountable and the black athletes are mistreated.
Listen, man, it's Miami, man. Everybody's
right. So she alluded to that, and then afterwards, somebody took a screenshot of another one where that he stopped paying. He should have kept on paying if he didn't want that to get released.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. of course it's extortion.
Right.
Of course it is. But she's going to come out and say that she released it because white people aren't held accountable and these black athletes are all being scrutinized for protesting the anthem while this coach is probably high on the sideline, which, okay, yeah, you can sound like you're a philanthropist and an activist, but really this was extortion.
You know what that makes me think, though? Why the hell has our offensive line been so rough? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think it's because this guy was doing cocaine.
No, it's not because of that. I'm saying that they should have been better because of that.
Right? He's apparently he was up all night till 4 a.m, probably working on game plan.
So this
Adam
guy
Gase said he kept his head down. We know that.
I mean, so this guy, he was a coordinator in 2004, but it's rookie stuff, man. He recently came last year. He was hired as the offensive line coach.
He's widely regarded as
I wonder if Coach Philbin's like into that stuff and we just don't know. Right? I mean, he's an offensive line coach now in Indianapolis.
I don't know. Coach Philbin doesn't strike me as the type to even have.
You'd be
caffeine.
surprised.
No,
I bet you Belichick doesn't strike you one as too, and that guy parties hard.
You never know.
Coaches that party. I mean, it's Miami, man. It's freaking Miami. I'm not gonna blame the guy. I think he deserves a promotion.
No, look, it's wrong that he's doing it in the workplace and filming it and like telling a stripper that he wants to lick it off her private parts.
Yeah, he's married.
Is he married though?
That definitely wasn't for honey.
Okay, well,
that wasn't for her.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
This guy looks like a single. This guy looks and acts like a
What
single
makes
dude.
you think that, bro?
And that's another explanation.
Because
How are you going to explain that to your wife?
Where's that guy from? Man?
I was only kidding about licking it off of her hoo-ha.
I don't think he was.
So now.
So
kind
unfortunately, his career with the Dolphins is now over.
And his career
by his choice,
though.
I know.
He was the one that resigned.
Yeah, well, he had to resign, or else he was going to get fired.
Well,
because
listen,
you can't let that have that.
But
that
you know,
thing
there
go
was,
viral.
I guess there was some legalities to it. People don't know if that was taken recently or not, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
and
but
I think there was a way out.
It just the Dolphins can't have that be out there in space with everything that's going on right now, with all of the controversy and everything. Like
What
that's just
controversy?
another
As far as like
thing.
Jay Cutler and sucking.
No, I'm talking about the rest of the NFL, which we're going to get into right now.
Adam Gase just can't catch a break. You know? The Lawrence Timmons thing, Hurricane having already traveled more this season than like 14 teams will travel all year.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
And that was kind of out of his hands.
So, okay. And then, so speaking of Adam Gase and speaking of, Chris Forster and why this video supposedly got leaked because of the activism, we have Adam Gase and the Dolphins having to speak out because Stephen Ross has put his foot down. And I kind of think it's Stephen Ross who put, his hand to Adam Gase's neck saying these guys have to stand for the anthem. Everyone's worried about their sponsorships. And,
he said they both came out, and this could be lip service, but basically Stephen Ross said that he believed that it was incumbent on the players to stand up for the anthem and, to participate in the anthem. But then Adam Gase came out and said, I think he was talking to somebody from the Palm Beach Post yesterday, and he said, it's on me. I'm the one that decided it. You know what I mean? So it could just be lip service. You never know.
Right. And it could be just because he wants there to not really be any discussion about it. It's like Adam Gase said this, and this is what the Dolphins are going to do. But it's just, with Jerry Jones making the statement he did a couple weeks ago by kneeling, and then now he's retracting it, saying his players won't play. It's just disappointing where this whole situation has gotten to, because 100% Kaepernick's initial message is completely lost by now.
Right.
It started to be lost a few weeks ago, and now it is just full-fledged all about the flag and the anthem and Donald Trump's jackass and
it seems like, obviously he's taken it and hit the ground running. And yeah, it sucks because you're right. Kaepernick's message is completely lost in all of this hoopla, because now it's just like, oh, you're going to tell me not to, so I'm going to. Now it's just like a shouting match, measuring whose is bigger.
And everything got muddled, just like everything. And now, so you have owners and coaches basically saying we're not going to do this anymore because everybody's disrespecting the flag, and nobody is intentionally disrespecting the flag. They're doing it for an entirely different purpose, which Kaepernick was doing in the first place.
Very explicit about it too.
Right. Rosa Parks wasn't protesting the bus system.
Right. And it's unbelievable how muddled it has gotten. And like you said, it's gotten to the point where it's out of control. And now I almost even think that the owners have to say, look, we can't be doing this anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. And yeah, almost not even a like recession, not even in like a secession to Trump, almost just like, let's just squash it.
Right. Hoping, because I don't know if you saw, but Roger Goodell basically came out and said that players should stand, not saying that it was necessarily a rule yet, but they're talking about possibly making an amend to the player manual for conduct, trying to make it something that all players have to do, and Jerry Jones even said this, to take it out of the hands of anybody, whether or not they can do this or not.
Right.
And so hopefully, if it is something that they deem that everybody has to do, they allow some sort of concession that will give them a platform to be able to talk about what the message is that they want to talk. The whole entire point of all of this.
Right. Which is, having the stage that they have and being able to voice what they believe.
But
now, unfortunately, though, the thing Matt mentioned, they don't want to do it now. It's more now. It's just more like a secession to Trump. Unfortunately, though, our president, not to get too political, but he'll take it like if he won, and he'll be childish enough to throw a tweet out there, haha, I told you guys. And and that's just, it's crazy. It makes people want to just go against the grain on purpose.
Donald Trump's Twitter account blows my mind.
It's volatile.
It blows my mind.
The people that work for him have to hate him.
I think it's hilarious, but it's also hilarious in sort of like this is a dystopian future and crazy kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on right now?
First possible war going to be started by Twitter, right? I mean,
maybe.
Literally.
You never know. Yeah, just like it stinks that the message is lost, like you said.
Right.
So we will get.
And then there were even reports of Kaepernick willing to stand if he gets to play again, which then later were trumped to being completely farce.
Speaking of Kaepernick, I think it would really help. I was thinking about this today. What if Kaepernick went on, like, I don't know, CNN or Ellen or any kind of stage where he could just give like a 10-minute speech and just be like, look, this is what I was trying to do. I want people to stop worrying about the flag and the anthem, and let's all talk about the real reason. Like, I don't know. It seems like right now is like, it's been over a year since Kaepernick first did this, and it seems like the perfect time for Kaepernick to like come out and say something. Like, I don't know, maybe the guy who started this whole thing is the guy who needs to come out and say something big about it.
The original message, I mean, we've talked about it being lost. I mean, let's just be on the same page here. The original message being equality.
Right.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll get back into the rest of the NFL in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back to the couch on 24/7 Miami. All right, welcome back to the couch. We are going to get into around the rest of the NFL. We're not going to go over every single game or every single thing, but we'll get into some interesting tidbits here in a little bit. By now trending, news with a twist. Every Monday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. live on 247 Miami Radio. That's Now Trending. You can go ahead and follow them at Now Trending 247 on Twitter. Now Trending.
Yeah, so some interesting stuff from the rest of the league. I think what's really big is right now Giants 0-5. They went from like third best Super Bowl odds to worse than the Jets now.
They really started off the season at third best Super Bowl odds?
Something like that.
Wow.
Top 5 at least.
Okay.
Crazy.
So, I mean, and what happened to them this week was crazy. They lost 3 guys, Marshall, Shepard. They lost 4, really, but I think Sterling Shepard's going to be okay. But as far as I know, Dwayne Harris, Marshall, and Odell Beckham are all season ending. So go ahead and get you Roger Lewis in your fantasy league.
Sterling Shepard, I think they said, was in a walking boot today, so it looks like he may not be done for the year, but they've placed Odell Beckham Jr. and Brandon Marshall both on injured reserve and they're ending their seasons.
Right.
So,
what'd you think of Odell's reaction to being carted off?
I never know how serious Odell is hurt because he's always just crying. He is always crying. He was crying on the sideline for God knows why, just in like the first quarter. He just is a very emotional guy, and he's always just crying. I
was comparing it.
I just don't. Not to say anything about that, but it's just you don't ever know if he's hurt, if he's just really emotional, because guys just always seem to just be crying.
I mean, and it's not the first time we've seen tears on the field, but it was
no, it's not.
It was a little different than I go back to that to last year, that Luke Kuechly concussion where he was just sobbing, and then the next minute,
no, Luke Kuechly,
but that was a concussion. His mind was not there.
His mind was gone.
Like nobody was home. That was crazy. And like, you know, and then you read into like things that happen in those concussions. They bring forth like either a really happy emotion or like a really sad emotion. That's wild. Like that was a little bit more serious. And, you know, Odell being the drama queen that he is, and I compare it to obviously another kind of like another hit. Obviously, Houston suffered a huge loss. This weekend with J.J. Watt. The injury, I mean, it wasn't violent looking, and that's what makes it even scarier. You get what I'm saying? The fact that it was just non-contact. It was one of the bones,
some kind of bone in there.
I mean, I ain't a doctor, so I mean that was horrible. But I compare his reaction to what Odell. I mean, at least look, J.J. Watt, you saw that he was affected, right? But I mean, you know, he was being a man about it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think we have to necessarily use crying as a pejorative, like for Odell Beckham.
Machismo, yeah, I get it.
Just because, I mean, he broke his ankle. I've never broken an ankle or anything like that, and I understand that J.J. Watt also broke a bone in his thing, but I don't think that it was quite as serious. And you did see some emotion out of J.J. It wasn't.
Dude, we've seen some pretty nasty injuries in the history of sports.
I know.
That Louisville basketball player that broke his leg. I mean, he was just like in pain, but he wasn't crying. That looked really ugly.
I know.
Like he had bones sticking out of his skin.
But
so
you can't compare what one person is saying to, you know, how one person's feeling to the other. Yes, granted, Odell Beckham Jr. is the drama queen, but, you know, I mean, look,
you're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, he behaves like this. You know what I mean? Like he's a little bit over the top than what maybe a normal person's reaction would be.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like when he's fighting with Josh Norman, you know, things like that. When he's proposing to a net on the sideline, like he's just, you know.
But you know what's? I mean, and again, we're just throwing around NFL stuff here, but it's been more of a story. It's been all those commercials that we've been seeing on Sundays with Josh Norman and Des Bryant now. Those are way better. I like it way more than the Odell drama.
On to teams that are not hurt and playing good football.
Carolina
and the Eagles, both 4-1. Wait, are the Packers 4-1? Are they? There's 3 teams in the NFC that are 4-1.
I'm pretty sure the Packers are 4-1.
So those teams look like the class of the NFC. Not Aaron Rodgers. Well, we'll get to Aaron Rodgers.
We'll get to him.
But Cam Newton looking like his old MVP self. He is shaking the rust off of that surgically repaired shoulder, which, you know, it's so funny how things change in the NFL week to week and how after like 2 games, granted, remember I said 4-1. So after 2 games, they still won a game. They were 1-1. And people were just knocking Cam Newton, saying, man, he doesn't look the same, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, he didn't play in the preseason. Give him a second.
Right.
And he's looking good now. And the Panthers are rolling. And a guy I've been just waiting to see something from, Devin Funchess, finally looking like an NFL receiver.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I picked him up last year in my fantasy. He's the last pick, thinking he was going to be having the year he's having now. But he's really showed up. And yeah, I think that it's really dangerous once Cam Newton really gets rolling, dude. I mean, I think that it could be dangerous for the rest of the league, man. They better watch out with Cam because that type of talent, I would put him as far as talent wise as top 5 quarterback in the league right now. Maybe, not record wise and maybe not, to the eye right now, but as far as talent is concerned and just overall player, top 5 quarterback.
And they are a scary team. I would say if you look at not last season, but the season before when they went 15-1, where they had just like a stifling defense and Cam looked like he was rolling on all cylinders. It's like, have fun stopping that.
Yeah.
The one thing that's still in question there in Carolina would be if, we haven't seen enough of the running game, maybe. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
McCaffrey, I like him. He looks good.
Talking to a Jonathan Stewart owner. Man. And that, hey,
it's like owning Chris Johnson or Adrian Peterson.
I
don't know what to tell you, man.
No,
He's about to get cut.
Dude, trust me, I've been benched him already. But yeah, that run game, and Christian McCaffrey just scored his first touchdown this week. So like that running game needs to get going, but Cam Newton's carrying them.
It's been overhyped coming into the season, as far as from what we've seen. But again, they're just starting to get rolling.
Right. Another team before we get to that Packers-Cowboys game, the Eagles.
Oh, I love the Eagles.
Carson Wentz looking
good.
the
Eagles. Love Wentz.
Carson Wentz looking like the real deal. Garrett Blunt running like a man.
Well, he got the touches.
Was that last game that he did that?
No, he ran for 73 yards and a touchdown this Sunday.
No, but that was last week where he
ran for 126.
The same guy twice. Yeah. No, but Garrett Blunt's looking good. Nelson Aguilar looking like a first-round pick. Alshon Jeffries looking like Alshon Jeffries.
No, I'm really all in on Philly this year. I think that Carson Wentz is going to take him as far as he can,
and that defense is pretty good. So that's looking like they will.
I'm all in, and especially like fantasy wise, I'm all in on the Eagles.
So those 3 teams: Packers, Carolina Panthers, Eagles. Can Eagles get to the NFC Championship? I say no.
Yeah.
Look, it wasn't much of a gauge. Last week wasn't much of a gauge because they were playing the Cardinals.
Right,
and the Cardinals are horrible. So
it's early. And then Aaron Rodgers, the God. Aaron Rodgers. Man, Devontae Adams said he is the one that went back and was like, yo, I could beat him, but like you're still not beating him without that perfect throw.
Right. That was a super exciting game. I was shocked at the amount of sort of speculation after the game on the Cowboys basically blowing it and leaving too much time on the clock. Like, I understand ideally
you got to give Rodgers the credit.
Want to
12 gauge.
Right. And ideally you want to like end the game up on top with no time remaining, but also what are you supposed to do when the lane opens up and there's a minute left? You know what I mean? Like they were like, "Oh, Dak should have kneeled it or he should have known that he shouldn't have run it in." It's like that's not how football works. Like you're not guaranteed to get the touchdown.
Right. And like I was saying, like if you're going to be afraid to give the ball to Aaron Rodgers with a minute left in the game, like how are you going to play football? You should be afraid for him to ever have the ball.
Sure. Right.
Like you need to have confidence that you can stop someone on the other team. Like, oh no, don't give him the ball with a minute and a half. Well, what about the rest of the game? You scared to play against him then too?
Right. And what about the defense? Let's see if we can maybe stop him from going all the way down.
Yeah, like why does he have to go all the way down the field? I know he's the best quarterback in the league, but
with that said, though, at the same time, there's some guys that you're more scared of with a minute left and a timeout than others, right? I mean, that's fair to say. And I'd put
I mean-
Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady as one of those guys.
Right, and it's not even. But I'm saying it's not just with a minute left.
Yeah, no,
It's
yeah.
anytime.
It's a whole
in the
game. Yeah, you're playing the whole game.
I don't know why we make it. I don't know. We make a big deal about. Oh my God, I can't get the ball to Aaron Rodgers with a minute and a half. No, you
Well, I
can't-
mean that's
you
when
can't give the
that's
ball to
when
him ever. Like,
yeah, okay, yeah, Matt, but that's
You
when
gotta
big
score your
players
points.
that's when big players produce, man. That's when you're there to watch Aaron Rodgers do his thing, and that's when he does his thing when he needs to, when his team needs him to. So that's part of it too.
Okay.
I mean, no. Yeah, be
Yeah,
scared of him all
course.
game,
I'm
but
just saying, don't worry about giving him the ball with a minute and a half. You gotta, like he said, you gotta score your touchdown. You can't be worried about giving him the ball with too much time. The whole game is too much time to give for Aaron Rodgers to have the ball. I don't like that argument that they should have ran the clock down more because you got to get in the end zone when you.
so
can.
game management means nothing to you then. I mean, that's out of it.
When a touchdown is given to you for the lead, you take it.
Fair enough. There's no argument there. Now, here's I was arguing this with somebody today. Aaron Rodgers, probably the most skilled quarterback right now. Easy to say, or
Yeah,
not
of
easy
course.
to say?
Yeah.
Because I got hit with
Yeah.
Right, but then again I got brought up Matt Ryan and obviously Tom Brady, but that's out of the question. And the one difference is that guy's legs. I mean, he got a couple first downs with his legs that nobody else would. So
Tom Brady's the GOAT, but right now, yeah, Aaron Rodgers can do a lot of things that Tom Brady can't do.
Right.
Tom Brady has the benefit of Bill Belichick as well, coaching up the defense and
rings.
5 of them.
So
the God.
Speaking of fantasy news that probably won't help anybody or
I know what you're saying.
the Cardinals, Adrian Peterson was traded to the Arizona Cardinals today for a conditional draft pick.
Here it comes.
Fantasy wise, I mean, why won't that? I mean, they cut Chris Johnson. He's essentially taking Chris Johnson's job, who was the lead back. And I mean, I know they got Andre Ellington, who I have, who his projection took a spike up this week.
It
so
did.
He's like up over 10 now.
PPR?
The
No, non-PPR.
The offensive line is basically putrid. And if you look at who Adrian Peterson is initially coming in to replace, let's not say Chris Johnson. Let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals offense, relying heavily on David Johnson. A lot of his offensive production was catching passes, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with Adrian Peterson. He doesn't exactly do that very often.
He hasn't ever
almost
been put
ever.
in that
Almost
position,
never.
though.
But even the Vikings wanted to do that, and he's just not that kind of back. Like, even when they had them, they were still bringing in other people behind him that were the third down pass catching backs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he could be a workhorse if they just want to run the ball up the middle, if they had a decent offensive line, which they don't.
So what do you think the purpose of New Orleans picking Adrian up anyways? Like, what do you think they were trying? What do you think was behind
he's
that?
still better to have on your roster than Chris Johnson. And you gotta, if you got him for what, a conditional pick, which I don't even know what that means. Is that even a real pick?
Yeah, it just depends on how well the Cardinals do with him. So, like, if they make
So then what happens? Do they give him back or?
I don't know. It just depends on where the pick is.
Oh.
But, like, I think, like you said, it's better to, if you're a team and you don't know what exactly Adrian Peterson has left in the tank before you sign him, how does it hurt to not sign him? If you're the Saints, you know what I mean? You don't know that Alvin Kamara is going to come on the way that he has. You know, even though Adrian Peterson doesn't necessarily fit the offense of the Saints either, because Drew Brees likes to dump off the ball to running backs too. But but still, you know, I think it doesn't hurt to kick the tires. But then when you see how things are going, and with the progression of Alvin Kamara, you kind of got to go,
Right. And when Adrian Peterson comes to your facility and he's 2 years removed from an 1,800-yard season,
right?
You give him a shot.
Well, that's what was going through my head when I wanted to pick him up in fantasy, and I did, but whatever.
Yeah,
he was dumped.
And
Probably the biggest upset of the weekend. Another game I wanted to talk about with you guys. Pittsburgh Jags. I mean, I would say that it's more of a surprise for people who don't watch football week in and week out. Because look, this is the way that Jags defense was supposed to be playing last year. Okay, they last year was a mess for the Jags. Their offense wasn't the same, and their defense wasn't responding. But they put names on their defense for the same reason, right? To be this good. They're that good. I wasn't as surprised getting a Steelers, an older Big Ben. I don't know.
I wasn't surprised that they won. I was surprised in the fashion that they won. And when you talk about Ben Roethlisberger,
dominance.
Yeah. Just crushing them.
I mean, the score was 30-9.
Right. They got 5 interceptions out of Big Ben. They scored 2 defensive touchdowns. Like, Like I said, just the way that they dominated him. And if you look at like home road splits, like Ben Roethlisberger is usually not that bad at home. Like, and granted, he's older. He, who knows about the comments that he's been saying. He said to the reporters maybe he didn't have it, and then today he said that he was fully confident in himself. So, I don't know what to make of all that. But the Steelers were supposed to be coming into this year a potent offense. You know what I mean? And I mean, the Jags,
as they have been,
the Jags just crushed them
for the last 4. But what a team like the Steelers who, there's no big offseason move or anything like that. What do they do to kind of push forward? What do they have to do? For example, and I compare them to the team that they were playing against, the Jags. The Jags knew 2 years ago what they needed to do, ramp up the defense, right? I mean, what does Pittsburgh do to move forward and be relevant like they were 2 or 3 years ago?
I mean, it's just maybe I don't know. I mean, is it coming to the end of
the Roethlisberger
era? I don't know.
It's very similar to what's happening with the Giants. And I didn't know that Eli Manning was 37, dude.
He was. I think that he was taken. Weren't they taken in the same draft or?
Yeah, they
close?
were
with Phillip Rivers.
Rivers, Eli, Big Ben, J.P. Lossman.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're getting a little bit up there.
We're getting close to that era shift, right? Like, are we getting that close? Because Brady's going to be done soon. Who knows when? But we're getting close to that shift, that paradox shift that we're going to see in football.
And when you talk about like a Ben Roethlisberger, like that is he's a generational quarterback that you have for a long time. So when his time runs out, it's like you almost got to restart it.
Hell yeah.
I love how many asked us, what do the Pittsburgh Steelers have to do to move forward? Like I'm Bill Polian. I don't know, Manny. I don't know. Is their offensive line good? Maybe they got to make that better. Is their defense good? I don't know. Maybe they got to make that better.
They should drop.
All I know is the Jaguars. Well, no, Leonard Fournette destroyed them. And
he runs mean, boy. He runs mean.
All I got to say is Jags, AFC Championship collision course.
This year?
This year.
Dude, I picked them to win 12 games last year, and they disappointed me.
Yeah.
I pick them to win to win 12 this year.
I still think they probably have a mess on their hands in Bortles, who, you never know. He could end up turning it around. Usually, I think, fourth-year quarterback.
If he Alex Smiths it, then he can do it. If he Alex Smiths it.
But you're asking for somebody who hasn't completed more than 15 passes in a game this year and has yet to eclipse 250 yards.
It's your boy right there, huh?
UCF.
Yeah. Blake Bortles, man.
I don't know.
Such a weird story, that kid. He just can't figure it out.
What's up with that kid, huh? I really like that kid.
And then you got the Jets out here, surprising everyone. 3-2. They've won 3 in a row.
They're playing against the Browns, man. Get out of here.
They're trying to tank, though. I thought.
I don't know.
The Jets
McCown's
losing. Now everyone's gonna start saying the Jets can't even lose, right?
Yeah.
Strongest thing on that team is McCown's chin.
Yeah. So we good with the NFL? You want to move on to some other stuff?
We'll move on to Simple Jack, and then we'll have Dubbie's postseason talk.
Ooh.
Well, I meant like some other quick hits.
No, you know what, man? You know what? That Deshaun Watson light up in the fourth quarter really screwed me over. Kid's real talented, though. That's part of that paradox shift that we were talking about earlier, man. That guy's part of the new era of football, and I don't know. He's good. Now, we've seen the Robert Griffins before, et cetera, but this guy, I mean, I don't know, man. He really turned it up in that second half. I lost a fantasy game because of it. Thanks, Deshaun.
Yeah, okay. Makes you wonder, how Tom Savage got to start.
Right? What did they see?
He was trying to protect his quarterback for a quarter and a half.
Right, and you know what? Hey, maybe it was a genius move. It obviously was a genius move because who knows? Maybe in that first half of that game, Deshaun Watson throws if he starts that game first series, maybe he throws a pick six, and then your brain is shattered.
Yeah, he's ruined. They're talking about DeShone Kizer. Like, is he
ruined already?
Yeah, is he ruined already by playing for the Browns?
Yeah, it could be. But look, I mean, another rookie quarterback we saw last night, Mitch Trubisky. Look, he lost the game, but he didn't look bad against a good defense in Minnesota. So
yeah, no, you're right. He completed some throws, had some bad throws. His lone touchdown was a deflection that the safety was really all over it.
Right.
And then he, speaking of getting beat by players in fantasy, all I needed was 8 yards from either Tariq Cohen or Kendall Wright last night
Cohen
on
killed me.
that last drive, and Trubisky threw that pick to Harrison Smith and ruined me.
You're ruined. Yeah, but we all know they don't care.
All right, so take a quick break. We'll do quick hits, simple jack, and we'll talk playoff baseball.
Oh, yeah. We'll be right back on the couch, just in time for you to get a cold one. All right, so we're back here on the couch. You guys are live with us on Tuesdays at 6:30. Next segment, it's going to be one of our favorite segments. It's brought to you actually by 247miami.tv, broadcasting the events of this amazing city to the world. Follow on Twitter at 247miami, like on Facebook at 247miami, and follow on Instagram at 247miami.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Goodbye, Mama. Now you can have ice cream in heaven. I'll see you tonight when I go to bed in my head movies. But this head movie makes my eyes rain.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to what some people would say is Christina Aguilera's favorite segment.
Wow. I get so excited. I just wait for that all week.
You guys think you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Menage a trois.
No.
I really like. Yeah. Okay. Go.
Voulou say quoi?
No. I think. No. Stick to American.
I was talking about the content of it, not necessarily that reference. But this week, Simple Jack comes to us out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where Christina Aguilera is from.
It's creepy you mean that.
Yeah, well, courtesy of the Associated Press, a Pittsburgh man has been arrested after police say he called in a bomb threat to avoid paying his restaurant bill. Witnesses say Barry Clapperton was at a Primanti Brothers over the weekend and attempted several times to leave the restaurant without paying his tab. Police were eventually called, and the situation seemed to be over after a friend decided to go ahead and take care of the tab for him when Clapperton decided to call in a bomb threat to another restaurant nearby. After he called in the bomb threat, he decided to attempt to run away from the police. They eventually caught up with him and tasered him and placed him under arrest. Instead of just a petty theft or even being let go, he is now charged with threats to use weapons of mass destruction, public intoxication, false ID to the police, terrorist threats, and escape. And he was unable to post bond.
Oh,
because there was no bond, or
couldn't afford it.
Right,
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I think it was progressive of the of him. Try to find a way out. Can't blame the guy.
Yeah, what do you think was gonna happen? He's gonna call in the bomb threat, and then the police were just gonna be like, "Oh, gotta go."
I guess, and like I said, I mean, he was out of it. The cops were ready to let him go. They were like, okay.
Oh, your friend paid your tab.
Your friend paid your tab. No harm, no foul. I guess everybody can go home. Nope, bomb threats.
Bomb
and running.
threat. Now you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
Now you're a charged terrorist.
Hey, you know what? Shout out to the police for using non-lethal, force to bring him down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, there's positive in everything, right?
All lives matter.
I mean, it could have. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it could have been another, shot person, but that's loose, man. Like, have you ever tried to run out on a tab?
No.
I mean, open forum here.
No. I don't know. I don't do that.
I don't know. Maybe in high school.
Right. But like it was probably like a sub and a soda, right?
It was probably like a slice of pizza, yeah. in some I don't know. I plead the fifth.
I go a lot to I frequent
statute of limitations.
I frequent places, so I mean, I don't
see my face. Of course now I do. Like I'm an adult now.
Right. And I mean, we're not talking about getting drunk and mistakenly leaving your car there. Your card, I mean. Your card, and then you have to come back later. Yeah. Like, I'm just not doing the dip.
That happened often to you, Coleman?
No. It's happened before, though. Right.
Those FSU days?
Yeah, all 9 months of them. Speaking of FSU.
Oh, wow.
Did you guys watch that game?
Sorry, I thought you were doing something else. No, like here and there, I was at work.
Okay.
I'm surprised.
No, it wasn't a good game. Don't lie. Look, I'm the biggest UM fan in this room.
Yeah, I'm surprised it took them like that much to beat FSU.
Look,
why was FSU even in that game? James Blackman is a high school quarterback.
I mean,
I guess their defense is that good.
Can I give my argument? Yes. Their defense isn't that good. My argument is the fact that all of those games, no matter if it was Jameis playing, DeAndre Francois, whoever you want to put in there, bro, and it's true, and we've seen it year in and year out, Matthew.
Okay, you're right, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Miami should have blown that team out.
Look, you're 100% right. The score should have been 40-3, if you ask me. One of my buddies predicted it to be 55-3. I wouldn't have been opposed to it, honestly, because the team's awful. But hey, you live, any given Sunday, bud. Any given Sunday.
I'm just saying, when Wake Forest gives them a run and NC State beats them, look, Miami, you want to.
This guy's talking because Florida barely got out of Wake Forest.
We don't play Wake Forest.
You guys played Wake Forest.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you did. That was FSU.
Maybe Vanderbilt.
No, you're right. No, it was FSU. But I mean, whatever. Yeah. The Gators suck anyways, and their uniforms next week are gonna be horrible. So
okay, wow, arguing like a fifth grader.
Right? Yeah, 100%.
Well,
I'm trying to civilly talk about real stuff, which is just that if Miami wants to be taken seriously, and there's a reason that the AP poll left them just outside the top 10. If they wanted to be inside the top 10,
right.
they would have dominated FSU.
Blown them out. You're 100%
and they
right.
didn't do that.
I agree.
And have fun with your turnover chain. You are not gonna win the ACC.
It's not about the chain, all right? It's not about the thing. It's the idea behind it, all right?
I like the chain.
I love the chain.
And I like the Gators uniforms next week.
Oh, they're horrible, man.
Gator skin, baby.
They're horrible.
Gator
Worst,
boots.
bro. Those are gonna be thrown into the pile with the Pittsburgh, jail uniforms.
The bumblebees.
Yeah, those things are
The
awful.
bumblebees are awful.
Worst uniform in the game.
Speaking of good uniforms, shout out to UCF. They won another game. I believe, the score was 51-23 versus Cincinnati before they eventually called the game in the third quarter because of rain.
Well, people are talking about, obviously the Canes being the third best team in the state of Florida, but putting USF and UCF ahead of everyone, really.
Wasn't there a betting controversy with that? Because, on that game, it was not complete. In Vegas, you can't cash a ticket unless a game does at least 55 minutes.
I think I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that there was a lot of stink over the fourth quarter basically not being played. Especially, I mean, there's a lot of bets that you can't fill because
right.
Yeah.
The second half over under anything like that, you know what I mean? That's out the window.
Right.
Let me just say something real quick to move on from college football. The and stick kind of like with the UM, it's going to be tough. And we lost our best running back, and that's going to be tough. But Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech's going to be fine. We have enough to get through Georgia Tech, but you're thinking about the Virginia Techs, and the North Carolina game is going to be really. We're looking at the division, so it's going to be tough. Conference.
Georgia Tech's a tough out.
Nah, I'm not worried about Georgia Tech.
Tech's a tough out.
No, we have enough to get through that game.
Man, the Gators, lost on a missed extra point.
A bunch of losers.
All right, we'll talk about some other stuff in this next segment.
In other news, kind of similar to other segments that we do, but actually
Basically just talking about stuff.
This is horse racing news. A racehorse trainer has been suspended for 18 months and fined $17,500 after two horses, Iron Cole and Shake It Up Betty, tested positive for Viagra during a 2016 summer meeting.
You wanted to say Shake It Up Betty on
the trainer stated that it was not him, but allegedly his employees that doped the horses. Allegedly, Viagra makes horses run faster.
Really?
It's a steroid, man.
I did not know that.
It gets the blood flowing.
Yeah, it's circulation.
Do they run with a huge?
I don't know.
I don't think it's enough for a
now
horse,
that we're
man.
on video.
Yeah.
Flailing.
And also in other news, the Disney Corporation, a la ESPN, and has suspended Jamel Hill for 2 weeks, which seems very severe and unnecessary. 2 weeks, that's a long time, for comments. She made comments about Trump, calling him a white supremacist, but now recently she has offered out that people should boycott people that Jerry Jones is sponsored with and stuff like that.
Right.
Dallas Cowboys sponsors, stuff like that. So I could see where ESPN has a lot of allegiances with the NFL, with TV contracts.
They're business partners.
They're business partners.
Fox.
So she's gonna end up on Fox. Should be the next one over there. But
Drinking yak and
it's almost like it's something that ESPN, they could have just gone to her and be like, Jamil, come on, knock it off.
Yeah, but that's not the
2 week
attitude.
suspension.
But that's not the attitude you approach as somebody that has a strong personality. That's a strong personality. It's a strong woman, and she wants to voice her opinion.
Okay, but exactly. But why are we exactly? And you're punishing her. First off, you're not backing an employee that's been with your company for God knows how many years. You're first off, you're not backing her.
But it's a huge company.
And second off, why is what she's saying, like, there's nothing wrong with what she's saying. She's voicing her opinions about civil unjust And
This can be all fixed with a disclaimer. This show has, doesn't portray the thoughts and feelings of the station. That can
But it's
be
not even
put in front of the
it's-
show.
It's not even on her show. It's on her personal Twitter.
it's on her
account.
Right.
personal. And to me, it is such a bad look to reprimand somebody who is fighting for people's rights.
Yeah, it looks pretty cowardly to me. And they didn't even really release a real statement as to why it was done. So now we're all left to speculate, saying, well, is it because she was being insubordinate? Like if they told her, hey, you can't tweet about this stuff anymore, and if they did say that, then what exactly were the guidelines? I mean, she didn't call anybody a white supremacist again. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think that what she tweeted on Sunday was all that bad. I thought it was rather benign. It almost feels like it's a makeup for not suspending her for the initial comments. You know what I mean? Then she came back and did it again. It's like, well, now we have to hit you with the hammer.
Right. And just my last final thought about that is just it's really starting to become upsetting how, people are starting to get reprimanded for standing up for themselves. And Jerry Jones is telling players that if they don't stand, they're going to not play. And Jamil Hill's being suspended. And it's like, these people should not be getting reprimanded for these things that they're doing.
Right.
We've been the couch.
Yeah, we have.
Manny,
we have.
Matt and Coleman.
Made it to the studio this time.
Special live shout out to my sister, Sarah,
Hey.
married this week in Washington, D.C.
Shout out to Sarah.
Congrats.
So I'll be in Washington, D.C. this weekend.
That sounds like fun, bud.
All right.
Catch a Nats game.
The couch every Tuesday, 6:30, right here on YouTube. Find the links on our Instagram.